thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Friday, August 23rd. Today is Find Your Inner Nerd Day. What do you think about that, you guys?
Shout out to Millie.
Oh, boy. It's also National
She told me nerd's not a bad word.
That what?
That word, nerd, is not an insult.
Nerd is not an insult. Adam, we need to move this up a little bit. It's also National Cuban Sandwich Day, you guys. And National Sponge Cake Day. And in the essence of the Count himself, Mr. Mathieu St. Germain, it is also National Ride the Wind Day.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for High at 9 News. We are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking it off first, is Rico with us yet?
I'm with you, but
okay. All right.
Hey, yeah, let me go a second. I gotta change my shirt because I got green shirt on.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Dr. T, you ready to roll?
I'll just be a floating head. We can do that. I don't give a shit.
That's dope. You could be topless.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man. Hey.
Whoa.
Friday. It's Freaky Friday, Rico.
I'd rather go bottomless because I'm a feminist.
I'm ready.
Oh, boy.
Hey,
All right. Well, we're going to roll right in and start it off with the doctor himself. That's right. One of the first doctors writing recommendations for cannabis patients. He's going to start the show off today. He is the founder of the CESC as well as Medican, where you should be getting your recommendations from if you are a patient here in the great state of California. That's right. Coming up next, it is none other than Dr. Gene Talleyrand.
Hey, everyone. Good morning. Let's see here. Happy Friday. And my headline today is from a Duke University School of Medicine publication, Cannabis and Tobacco Use on the Rise. Where am I? Cannabis and Tobacco Use on the Rise, especially among older adults, by Chantal Kirkendall. The number of Americans using both cannabis and tobacco is increasing, particularly among older adults, a new study finds. Tobacco and cannabis are among the most used substances. 55 million, or 20% of people ages 12 or older, report using tobacco in the past month. And 36 million, or 13%, report using cannabis in the past month. Typically, less than 1% of people who had never smoked tobacco report using cannabis daily. In other words, most people who smoke cannabis daily have smoked tobacco at least once in their lifetime. Data from the National Survey on Drug Use and Health indicate that the daily cannabis use is significantly greater among people who smoked cigarettes in the past 30 days. This study defines the co-use of tobacco and cannabis as either smoked in the past month, both of them smoked in the past month. The co-use of cannabis and tobacco can occur at different times, or at the same time, as in the spliff or a blunt. Studies have proposed that the co-use of tobacco and cannabis has health risks, increasing exposure to toxicants and the likelihood of associated anxiety and depressive symptoms. Some studies also report that the co-use of cannabis and tobacco increases the likelihood of nicotine dependence. However, other studies show no effect of cannabis use on tobacco treatment outcomes, indicating that the relationship is just poorly understood. In 2021, 6.4% of U.S. adults reported the co-use of cannabis tobacco in the past month, which is an increase from 5.2% in 2012. Researchers attribute the trend to more states legalizing cannabis and people becoming more accepting of and comfortable with cannabis. When looking at the 2021 data, younger individuals, people with lower educational attainment, and residing in a state with a medical cannabis law were most likely to report co-use, and said lead study author Dana Rubenstein, a fourth-year medical student at Duke University. This study, published in the journal Addictive Behaviors, analyzed data from over 700,000 adults, revealing key trends. The co-use of cannabis and tobacco increased over 2 decades. So did the exclusive use of cannabis. However, the use of tobacco alone decreased. While most demographic age groups experienced a rise in the co-use of cannabis and tobacco, the younger 18 to 25 age group experienced a decline. According to Rubenstein, the decline is likely due to fewer young adults using tobacco. The increase in co-use contrasts with the 50 and older age group, where co-use increased from 0.4% to 3.1%. Still not very much. As cannabis becomes more accessible, we need to pay more attention to the combined use of cannabis and tobacco, which poses unique health risks, says Rubenstein. The trend suggests that healthcare providers should routinely screen for co-use when a patient reports using either cannabis or tobacco. This is one of the studies where the data is clear, but the interpretation is misconstrued. It's clear that more people are using cannabis. That alone explains the increase in co-use. The other important conclusion is that younger people are smoking tobacco less. However, I'm not convinced that the co-use of cannabis and tobacco would lead to increases in cancer or other illnesses. The study didn't determine whether more or less tobacco was consumed with cannabis. Exposure to combined cannabis and tobacco toxicants has not been linked to increased cancer. As well, associations with anxiety and depression are correlative and not causative. Although the results of this study are not very informative, I hope the author was able to get a good grade and into the residency program of her choice. I also wonder if the future Dr. Rubenstein knows anything about the endocannabinoid system. After all, only 9% of medical schools teach about the endocannabinoid system, and Duke is not one of them. Do you combine cannabis and tobacco? This is Dr. Jean Talleyrand with High at 9 News.
Dr. T throwing a couple of shots at the end there. I like that.
Right? Yeah.
Always.
I do combine cannabis with tobacco. I smoke blunts.
Yep.
I can't do spliffs. Yeah. And you know, the other thing I notice is, and I think this is really important, is when my brain starts to manufacture reasons why I need to smoke a blunt, I then take a break for at least a month, because nicotine is addictive and habit forming.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not mad at that.
But also blunts are tasty.
And deadly.
I'm enjoying a good European cigarette.
Nicotine is fucking deadly. Imagine if THC was deadly, right?
You mean it can kill you? Yes.
Tobacco kills 8 million people worldwide every fucking year, and tobacco smokers, those billion-dollar corporations rely on your filthy habit so they can generate billions in profits and spend millions to keep cannabis illegal. Tobacco is bad. Don't smoke tobacco. Period. End of fucking story. Oh my God.
Man,
yeah, I think that's kind of
a lot of
I don't think that's really true, Dr. Mark. You know, I think that commercial tobacco, and especially the tobacco made in the U.S. and Europe, is definitely carcinogenic, and a big reason for that is they only have to have about 20% actual tobacco leaf. The rest can be agricultural waste that is then perfumed and dyed and has added nicotine and other chemicals. But there's a whole other frequency of tobacco, which is the Nicotiana rustica jungle tobacco. There's a tradition of tobacco curanderismo called tabacieroism, where people actually use tobacco for meditation and curative properties. And there's actually a lot of, and I've learned this from my son being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, there's actually a lot of neuroprotective effect of nicotine when not smoked. Tobacco snuffs, dry tobacco snuffs have been shown to help protect against ALS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and multiple sclerosis, and to lessen attacks and progression of multiple sclerosis. So I think this, everything,
that's a lot of bullshit, man. That's a lot of bullshit right there. I'm calling you out on it.
We're talking peer-reviewed scientific studies. If you want to, 60
milligrams of nicotine will kill the average adult person taken orally.
Right.
60 fucking milligrams.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Nicotine is a contact poison. It'll kill you if you touch it. I'm telling you, dude, you don't want to mess around with nicotine, and when you burn it, nicotine degrades, and nitrogen, or the essential oil of tobacco, is chock-filled with nitrogen compounds that aren't thermally stable, that degrade to very toxic compounds. Some of the most toxic compounds we know are basically degradation products from smoking, okay? Nitroso compounds. These things are things that immediately cause cancer at very, very low dose, you know? So, I mean, nicotine, imagine if THC 60 milligrams was toxic, right? 60 milligrams of nicotine will kill the average adult human. That's it, dude. Humans don't need to be consuming.
Yeah, 2 gallons of water. 2 gallons of water drink immediately will kill a person. But water is bad for you.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Every chemical compound has an LD50. Go ahead.
I think Altria is breaking up your feed.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I think it's a more nuanced conversation, Dr. Mark. I love and respect you, but there is a lot of peer-reviewed evidence for efficacy of nicotine. However, the mainstream routes for nicotine dosage, which are cigarettes and chewing tobacco and these things, are in fact carcinogenic, but a lot of that has to do with a lot of the way that they grow it, the fertilizers they use, the chemicals that they then add into.
Well, and
but I'm not going to ask you to agree with me. I'm just going to love you.
Love you too, buddy.
How can you argue with that?
Look at that. Look at that.
And this is how arguments are settled in the Grateful Dead lot. I love it here.
Full of love Friday.
I think.
Well, I'm curious. What is it about the combination of tobacco and cannabis that is appealing? Is it a different effect? I heard you say.
Blunts are delicious.
Yeah, you get a buzz, man. Like I was introduced to spliffs by a European friend back in the mid to early 2000s, and I was like, I got a buzz from that shit, man. It gave me like a little jolt in the beginning. It's like it energizes you. I don't know. It's just like a different kind of high.
You know,
does it balance the dating effect of the cannabis?
Well, I think it does. Back then, I mean, I was in Chicago, so I didn't even know what a strain was. We called it, like it's that fire. We didn't know what the fuck it was. But yeah, it could kind of balance that, so you don't get all drowsy and stuff like that, and you can still be, I guess, conversational, and it's just a totally different high. And a lot of people, like myself back then, I liked the buzz, that jolt of energy that gave you, like when you're in it, and then you just like levels off and you're smooth and good to go.
Fair. Sounds like a good sativa.
You know, Dr. T. I used to smoke. I used to smoke blunts when I first started smoking, and a lot of the reason for smoking blunts was more of an economical reason, because I felt as though that it made my trees last longer as opposed to in a paper. And so, like when you're, a young kid and you're buying 20 sacks and 50 sacks and whatnot, that helped it to last that much longer. Ultimately, I quit smoking blunts because I did not want to go into my 40s still smoking blunts because I felt like that's just ratchet behavior and whatnot. But nonetheless, I did used to.
I smoked a blunt last week.
Right. You calling me ratchet?
Straight,
I'm not in my 40s. I'm nowhere near my 40s.
If you're in your 40s and you're still smoking blunts, that's ratchet behavior, 100%.
What if you're in your 50s and you just started in your late 40s?
Anytime you're over 40, it's ratchet behavior. It just is what it is. Just own it. Own your ratchetivity.
Can't you just roll a blunt out of cannabis? Do you have to include tobacco?
It doesn't work with cannabis. Those fan leaves.
It doesn't taste right. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, they burn way too hot. Is not an enjoyable experience at all whatsoever.
Have you had the palm leaf joints?
No, those are trash too. Not a fan.
I actually like the palm leaves.
Not a fan.
Well, let me throw this out there. We're talking about things that are not good for you. There was a collab done with those King Palm wraps, and they failed pesticide testing because the things that are treated with. Yep. So if you want to smoke pesticides, those palm leaves are a good way to do it.
God dang!
We can't have nothing,
man.
Nothing.
No fun for you
Rico
guys.
Rico and I are clutching our baby your life. We're like, oh man.
Let's smoke a blunt for you today, Jason.
Oh man,
I guess you could dab a nicotine patch if you wanted to. Right?
Oh my God!
I think you just created a new method of consumption, Dr. Mark.
Yeah, don't tell the kids that, Dr. Mark. All of a sudden, it's going to be the new Tide Pod challenge. All of a sudden,
do that.
We're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Oh man.
Oh man, that was weird. Hey, you America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024
We're back, guys. We're back. Yo, we're back.
And we're back.
Hey.
You want me to go? You want me to introduce you, Jason?
We're back?
We're going as normal, yeah. Yeah, Rico. And then I'm going to introduce you after this. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to?
We should have discussed this on commercial.
I'm waiting on you, Rico.
Hey, Rico, can you let everybody know that we're back?
The highest Republican in every.
All right, never mind. I'm just going to go into my story. I don't need an introduction. It's all good.
All right, so thank you, Jason. And for today's story, I've got a spicy update.
No, Rico, no. I'm going, and then you're going, bro. You switch spots with Dr. Talleyrand. I explained that. I don't know why you didn't get that the first time.
Up next, we have the spiciest of all the spicy Republicans in the House. Got a chip on his shoulder today. It must be something that's going on in the world. I don't know. He might have watched something last night on TV. I don't know. But either way, I hope he's still the highest Republican. He needs something to level himself off. Coming to the stage, Jason Beck.
Oh, man. Boy. You guys are funny. You guys got jokes today. You guys got jokes.
Jason wasn't watching TV. He was busy protecting me. So Jason was busy last night.
Well, let me tell you guys, Jenny, hold on. Let me tell you what's going on, because New York acting cannabis chief says changes made in the wake of the OGS report, and I just read that as OG's report, but it's just how it looks, but nonetheless. The acting chief of the state's Office of Cannabis Management has started to impose changes in the troubled department. Now more than 90 days since the State Office of General Services released a report that showed deep inefficiencies with the agency. The May 10th report found that the department failed to grant cannabis business licenses responses to 90% of applicants and other issues in the agency's structure and communication habits, which led to the ouster of former executive director Chris Alexander. Governor Kathy Hochul appointed OCM Executive Deputy Director Felicia Reed to lead the agency while the executive chamber conducts a national search to select a permanent replacement. And Reed accepted the task to serve in both roles, ready to make changes. In a quote, "At the end of the day, this agency is a regulatory agency and it needs to just work," Reed said during an exclusive interview Thursday with Capitol Tonight. "It's not just me. It's not just you. It's all of us. And so we've got to make this work," she says. The past spring, Hochul directed OGS Commissioner Jeanette Moy to assess issues with OCM after calling the rollout of the state's cannabis industry a disaster. After taking them to the helm back in June 10th, Reed held several meetings with senior OCM staffers, lawmakers, and other stakeholders about department gaps, including a shortage of staff and need for improved communication. Reed said she has focused on restructuring staff to focus on their skill set after learning of widespread disorganization within the agency, which is less than 3 years old. In a quote, "It's a process," she said. "When I came to the agency, folks had fingers in every single pie, and I'm like, this can't work for any of you on a daily basis," she says. OCM also needed more robust auditing practices, she said, and the department had a history of providing little direction to staff as the industry took shape. In a quote, "People thrive when they have a sense of what to expect and what the rules are, and when those expectations and rules are even-handedly applied," Reed added. "There wasn't a whole lot of that, I got the sense, before," she says. The report gave OCM recommendations to implement over 3 and 6 month periods, including building up staff and licensing operations and improving internal and external communication to unclog the application bottleneck. And Reed said the department continues to be woefully understaffed with 180 workers, but is hiring 65 more people. The department will soon have a direct contact for license applicants, and the OCM has open positions to hire customer service representatives who will help the general public, you guys. In a quote, "A state agency can talk all day about what it is, but if the folks that we serve and work with have a completely different experience, then that is what sort of leads," Reed said. The acting OCM leader said the hiring process will take many months, with dozens of applications coming in from candidates in the public and private sectors. And last month, Reed held a Zoom call with lawmakers who make up the Senate Cannabis Subcommittee. And on all of these calls, Chair Senator Jeremy Cooney, a Democrat from Rochester, said the call showed Reed is serious about OCM building a stronger relationship with the legislature, and says in a quote, "There's a lot of hope and optimism that the new leadership at OCM will be able to kind of course correct, but I think the proof is going to be in the pudding," he said on Thursday. "We want to make sure that the changes that are being made are aligned with that report recommendations," the OGS highlighted. And she recently met with Cannabis Associations of New York President Damian Cornwell, who owns the Birmingham dispensary Just Breathe. Cornell said Reed understands New Yorkers expect accountability as state leaders rebuild the OCM, and in a quote says, "I think that right now the OCM and the second floor are working hard to renew that trust that they maybe had coming in the front door when the industry started," Cornell said. Reed also spearheaded a shift within the department's process to evaluate and approve adult use retail licenses after widespread confusion from applicants, and the department will assign caseworkers to review each adult use retail license application that thousands of New Yorkers submitted last November and December. And department staff will continue to evaluate about 600 applications that remain in the randomized queue from the November group, though through early next year, Reed said. Afterward, applications in the December queue will continue to be evaluated on a rolling basis, and Representative with Hochul's office would not answer questions about the executive chamber's ongoing search to hire a new OCM leader, including how many people have been interviewed or when a decision will be made. In a quote, they say, "In June, Governor Hochul announced a nationwide search for a permanent executive director to lead the Office of Cannabis Management. Hochul's spokesperson, Cassie White, said in a statement, the Hochul administration is conducting its search diligently to ensure New York's cannabis industry remains the strongest and most equitable in the nation. I can't believe that she thinks it's the strongest, but whatever. Reed has indicated she is not interested to be in the running to be OCM's next leader, but Thursday she said she could be open to the idea with the proper coaxing from Hochul's office. That means there's some kickbacks involved.
Money.
Like, yeah. In a quote says, I know that Chamber is looking at all of its options, and again, I remain open to the persuasion, Reed said. Open to the persuasion? Oh, man, this just sounds so corrupt right now in New York, and I can't believe that they think that they have such an amazing market going on. I mean, someone needs to open these people's eyes and give them a dose of reality, but nonetheless, this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all have to say about this?
I hope they get it.
I mean,
together.
they do have an amazing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I hope they get it together, and I hope Reed just doesn't end up being the next scapegoat. This whole thing's been a mess from the beginning, and this has a lot of shades of Los Angeles.
Well, they do have an amazing market going on. The OCM's not a part of any of it, but they do actually have an amazing market going on. I mean, I think they need to scrap the whole office. Like, I don't know, finger and pies, whatever they're doing over there. Like, they don't know what they're doing, and they clearly have tasked people with regulating this market that know nothing about it and don't understand how to properly regulate what they're supposed to be looking after. I mean, look at the licensure process. Look at everything that's going on. Look at this ridiculous cat and mouse, Tom and Jerry-esque, we're going to shut down the bodega shop situation. Like, sorry, you're fired.
Yeah, it's a lot of masquerading that they're doing, that they're trying to do the right thing, and nothing's really happening. Alexander got a bad hand, and they blamed everything on him. Kathy Hochul ended up blaming Cuomo and his people when she hired everybody, and this goes all the way up to the top. Like, I don't see it. I don't see anything getting fixed anytime. I don't see anything getting fixed in anytime soon. And I think this is just going to sow more discord within the entire OCM. So it's sad. Yeah, agreed. But, good luck to Reed.
You're absolutely right. You're right. I mean, they're spending more time covering their ass than they are fixing these very, very glaring problems. So I think that, yeah, I agree with you completely, Rico. And it's frustrating, and it's giving LA vibes.
Yeah, too many fingers being pointed and not enough thumbs.
Definitely not enough thumbs. That's for sure. Not in New York. I don't even think they have thumbs in New York. They just got fingers.
They do. They got to open doors with something.
Man, you got to have 5 to get that discount, brother.
Maybe they just came up short. You know what I'm saying? We know there's some missing brain cells over there in that New York office as well.
What do you got against New York, Jason?
I don't have anything against New York. I love New York. I think New York's a great place. I'm talking about the office of cannabis management.
Okay.
Yeah. They're short.
We love you, New York.
They're short.
I hope you all get together.
They're
great people out there.
Well, we're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, who had a phone call today, but guess what? He's back in action. That's right. Rocking black. Black on black. That's right. Is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Oh, yeah, Jason. And we're going to move things a little south of New York here, down that shoreline to Jersey. And because keeping along with the theme of spiciness today, we got a spicy update on a major plot twist in the New Jersey cops smoking weed off duty story that we've been covering for quite some time now. According to the New Jersey Monitor's Sophie Nieto Munoz, a lawyer representing one of the officers affected is now accusing Jersey City Mayor Steve Fulop of terminating his clients for their off-duty cannabis consumption as a means to gain attention for his campaign for governor. Per the article, in a new legal filing, attorney Michael Rubas said Fulop's move to fire the cops for using legal cannabis in defiance of state law is a ruse done solely to bring attention to him and to assist his gubernatorial campaign to the detriment of Jersey City employees as well as taxpayers who are now footing the bill of hundreds of thousands of dollars in back pay towards and attorney fees. Fulop is seeking the Democratic nomination for governor in 2025, and Rubas's allegation comes in a wrongful termination lawsuit filed in Superior Court in Hudson County on behalf of one of the cops, Mackenzie Riley, whom Jersey City fired in August 2023 when he tested positive for cannabis after a random drug screening. Last week, the State Civil Service Commission ordered the city to reinstate Riley. Jersey City officials have fired or suspended multiple cops for using regulated cannabis off duty, arguing that officers who use cannabis are violating federal law and cannot carry a firearm or ammunition. The city has lost this battle involving 3 different cops, but has refused to relent. The Civil Service Commission has also ordered the city to rehire officers Norhan Mansour and Omar Polanco, who were also terminated for using regulated cannabis while off duty. But the city has not done so. Under the state's recreational marijuana legalization law signed by Governor Phil Murphy in 2021, police officers are allowed to use cannabis if they're not on duty, per a 2022 memo from the Attorney General Matt Platkin. But Jersey City's public safety director, James Shea, sued the state over the issue, arguing that it flies in the face of federal law that bars people who use cannabis from owning guns and ammunition. According to the latest complaint, before implementation of their unlawful policy, city officials had a conference call with the state attorney general's office where they were told that the cops cannot be disciplined for using legal cannabis. The complaint states that during the call, Jersey City officials openly conspired to violate the law. 6 days after Fulop announced Jersey City's policy that cops cannot use cannabis, Fulop received an email from a political operative who sent him a Politico New Jersey article about the issue. South Jersey Democrats request clarification from Platkin on cannabis and cops memo. And 5 minutes later, Fulop sent an email to Shea saying, "Little revolt we started, LOL." Rubas legal filing calls that comment flippant. City spokesperson Kimberly Wallace Scialdone said it is silly to accuse Fulop of playing political games, adding that the city is following federal policy. Most people would agree with the administration that police officers should not be coming to work stoned, she said in a statement. Why would she even say they're coming to work stoned? They were smoking on their while they were off.
They don't know how long it lasts, apparently.
Right. She continued. Most people would agree that with the administration that police officers should not be coming to work stoned. She said in an official statement. Riley was first suspended without pay in March 2023 and fired August 25th, 2023. The complaint says, in an arrogant and condescending disciplinary order from Shea, who failed to acknowledge the state constitution, the state's marijuana legalization law, or the attorney general's memo. At one point, Jersey City officials announced the entire department that Riley was guilty of serious misconduct that warranted termination, which the complaint says gave Riley's co-workers the false impression that he was derelict in his employment. By not rehiring Riley, the city is acting in a willful and malicious manner with immoral purpose to injure and cause harm, the complaint says. This constitutional right to possess and consume regulated cannabis is granted to all New Jersey citizens, including Jersey City police officers, it says. This is a mess. This whole thing is a mess. And what I don't understand is you guys are cops and y'all know how easy it is or how you guys try to take people's cell phones and go through the text messages and shit like that. Like, why are you doing it and even telling on yourselves via text message when you know it's going to get leaked some way, somehow? I don't understand any of that stuff, but I just hope this cop gets his money because this is all messed up. More New Jersey politics, and shout out to Bob Menendez setting the tone. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. What do y'all think about this one?
I mean, Rico, do we know were these cell phones issued by the department or are they their own personal phones? Because I think that would make a big difference. Because that might be some privacy violations.
Well, it was between the mayor and. Somebody sent him a Politico New Jersey story, and but yeah, between the mayor and these other folks that are that were suing to get the cops fired. So I mean, somebody snitched, somebody leaked that shit.
Yeah,
so,
someone's snitching.
Yeah, somebody didn't get paid.
Something. Something definitely smells fishy with this. That's for sure.
It's New Jersey, man. Like it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat in New Jersey. If you are in an authoritative position, chances are, you got dirt. You've been doing some
the
dirt.
home of the wise guys, right?
Yeah.
It is the home of the wise guys. Also, what is it? The trash union. You know what I'm saying? The waste disposal, waste management services.
Listen, those are just nice guys from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Resident Italian here,
Public
nice
service.
guys from the neighborhood. That's all that is.
Public service.
Just humble public servants feeding their family. Leave them alone.
Just like the bus drivers too, right?
I never thought until this New Jersey debacle started that we would be rallying for fucking police officers. And like, you know, I appreciate there's some great police officers out there, but the fact that we got to fight for cops to be able to smoke weed when they're off duty after they're dealing with people who've been shot, people who are spitting on them, people who are doing all this stuff that is happening to them on a day in, day out basis. Like, yeah, let them smoke some weed. I'd rather get pulled over by the highway patrol officer that smoked a joint last night and was a little chilled out.
The highway.
The highway, exactly.
Yeah, you know? Because then he's like, is that you or me that smells like weed? I don't know, officer. Got to go.
Yeah, good point.
How fast are you going?
Yeah. Oh, that would be so funny. Oh man, that would be so great to watch some body cam footage of a cop coming up and telling someone that they smell weed and be like, "That must got to be you, officer."
You know, it's like this.
Dr. T saying?
Hey, do you know why I pulled you over?
He pulled out his gun and it's a lighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I smell like weed.
No. Do you know why I pulled you over? No, really. Do you know why? I don't remember shit. What were you doing?
Yep, exactly right. Exactly.
Was it for some of these sweet double stuffed Oreos, officer? Yeah, it was. On your way, citizen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, George Floyd might still be alive if they were smoking weed. That's
facts.
That's a very fair assessment, Dr. T. And on that, we're going to roll into our next commercial, and we're going to be right back. The Network Show is coming back to LA September 18th and 19th. Make sure to get your tickets now for the only B2B licensed flower trade show in LA. With its previous shows selling out, you'll want to act fast so you don't miss out on over 150 of the best brands and distributors throughout California. The Network Show captures and ensures an intimate, focused environment for California's most influential brands and retailers to join forces in the true spirit of the legacy operator. So head over to www.networkshow.co/ticketing to reserve your spot and start cultivating connections at this year's Network Show.
Love them.
Love them. Gotta.
Stop what you're doing. Jason?
Yes, that's right. Stop what you're doing. Make sure that you smash that like button. I know you'll appreciate it. We'll appreciate it. And YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show will be up on our website just shortly after the show. And we do want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching. We did recently just not only celebrate our 2-year anniversary yesterday, and so we want to thank all of you all for tuning in and watching in, participating and whatnot. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Catalyst, helping us keep the lights on over here, everything like that. And we just hit over 900,000 views on this channel, so thank you all.
We're gonna get that plaque, Jake's back.
The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
You should give us a fucking warning, Jason. Good morning.
We're back. Rico, you're on mute.
I heard.
Because you are, get your notepads ready because you are currently tuned in to a Friday lesson from the pop professor himself, fresh off the mean beaches of Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
And he is back and ready to drop y'all with his next lesson. This New England-based anti-booth peddler of truth, organic chemistry and plant oil extraction expert, here to break us off with a little Friday silence and science. Dr. Mark Scialdone. Yeah. Ooh.
Thank you, Rico.
You got the purest.
Thank you, folks.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, we're
clean.
We're making molecules, right? Here's my molecule, or HHCA. Okay, so today, let's see. My story comes from the Cannabis Review, from Nancy O'Regan at the Cannabis Review, and it's entitled French Trial Paves the Way for Widespread Prescription. French researchers in 2021 began a trial of medical cannabis involving more than 3,000 patients. The trial has yielded overwhelmingly positive results. Well, go figure, right? Offering hope to thousands of patients suffering from chronic debilitating pain. So this is a pain trial. The trial involved over 3,000 patients. Dr. T, that's a significant swath. 3,000 patients in a study, that's big. So we got to pay attention to these kinds of things. So it has demonstrated that cannabis-based treatments can provide significant relief for conditions like neuropathic pain, epilepsy, cancer-related symptoms that have resulted in traditional therapies. So 60% of the patients in this 3,000 patient cohort reported experiencing substantial pain reduction, a figure that eclipses the effectiveness of all other pain treatments. Okay? Cannabis is better than all other pain treatments. Oh my gosh. Including opioids. For many participants in the trial, the relief has been life-changing. For those with neuropathic pain, which is often prescribed as a consistent or constant burning sensation, are finding immense relief through cannabis-based medications. Initially scheduled to conclude in April, the medical cannabis trial has been extended to the end of the year by government decree. Building on the trial's success, France's National Agency for the Safety of Medicines and Health Products, in acronym ANSM, has announced medical cannabis treatments will be widely available for prescription 2025. But check this out. They do a clinical trial. They started in 2021. Here in 2024, they have basic results from the first 3 years, and prescriptions will be available next year. That's how quick it can be, folks, in taking things from the clinic to basically being able to prescribe them to patients. The decision signifies a significant step forward in acknowledging the therapeutic potential of cannabis and addressing the unmet needs of patients with chronic pain. The scope of medical cannabis that will be made available to patients is yet unclear. This will largely depend on offers made from pharmaceutical companies. So it sounds like from that language there that they're kind of pushing this towards the Schedule 3. So they want pharmaceutical companies to basically be manufacturing these cannabis-based products that they're going to intend to prescribe in 2025, which is just next year. So let's see how this all plays out. The journey towards access to medical cannabis in France has been fraught with obstacles, including political opposition, go figure, and lots of misconceptions. Yet, the compelling evidence from the French trial and the growing patient support signals a shift in public perception. I wanted to add something quick to the story, Jason, if I could.
Please.
If you could let me, because this is significant. And when I saw this last night, I'd already posted my story that I just covered. But I wanted to bring this up to people's awareness because to me, this is extremely significant. A paper was published yesterday in a top scientific journal called Nature. Nature is one of the top scientific journals in the world. And so when articles appear in Nature, scientists throughout the world basically read it. And what this is this is a first paper from the group that the NFL has funded in Canada. And so the title of the paper is called Cannabinoid Therapy in Athletics, a review of current cannabis research to evaluate real-world potential of cannabinoid applications in sport. So this just hit the web 2 days ago. The PDF is downloadable. I could share the link if needed, but if you just Google cannabinoid therapy,
we'll have just send us the link and we'll have it on our website, Dr. Mark, in regards to the story.
Yeah, let me just cut to the chase. So basically, this is a group up in Canada that the NFL has funded to now look at the use of cannabinoid or use of cannabinoid and cannabinoid products in sports. And so I'll just read the abstract really quickly. The increasing legalization of cannabis plant products has sparked growing interest in their therapeutic applications. Prohibition laws established in 1937 hindered formal research on cannabis, a plant with cultural and medicinal roots dating back to 2700 BC in Chinese history. Despite regulatory hurdles, published research on cannabis has emerged, yet elite athletes remain underrepresented in the populations in these studies. Athletes known for exploring diverse substances to optimize performance are drawn to the potential benefits of cannabinoid therapy, with anecdotal reports suggesting positive effects on issues ranging from anxiety to brain injury. This review, which is what the paper is, it's just a review article that discovers or describes a lot of research going on throughout the world today. This review aims to evaluate empirical published cannabis research with a specific focus on potential applications in athletics. So this is very, very exciting. The changing legal landscape, especially the removal of cannabis from drug testing programs in leagues such as the National Basketball Association, and endorsement by Major League Baseball for cannabinoid products, and the National Football League for cannabis research reflects a shift in acceptability of such substances in sport. However, stigma, confusion, and lack of education persist, hindering cohesive understanding amongst sports organizations, including business professionals, policymakers, coaches, medical training staff, and in addition, the athletes themselves. Adding to the confusion is the lack of consistency of cannabinoid regulations from sport to sport, within or out of competition, and with cannabis bioactive compounds. The need for this research is underscored by the evolving attitudes towards cannabinoids in professional sports and the potential therapeutic benefits or harms they may offer. By synthesizing current cannabis research, this review aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of applications and implications in cannabinoid use in the realm of athletics. Well, again, folks, I find this review article very, very stimulating. I'm sure you will too if you read it. It is just points out what we've known, which is that athletes in variety of different sports, not just contact sports like football, but sports like baseball and skiing and hockey. I mean, all these sports, cannabis has got a place in there. And certainly for treating traumatic brain injury. If you've ever watched the movie Concussion with Will Smith, which if you could stomach a Will Smith movie, it's probably a decent movie. You'll never, right, Rico? You'll never watch the game of football in the same way again.
Yep.
Because what you'll realize
that shit for 20 years, man.
Is no matter how solid the football helmet is, the human brain is just not meant to undergo all of that contact that happens during a career. And what ends up happening, Dr. T knows this, is that repeated concussion after concussion after concussion leads to a thing called CTE, which basically turns your brain into Swiss cheese with just complete parts of your brain that are missing. So I'm glad that the NFL is paying attention to this. I'm glad that all the sports leagues are paying attention to this. I mean, Rico, we've covered this a ton on High at 9 News, and I wanted to put this splash out there in addition to my other article because I think this is really important for our audience to know about and to read about. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Very, very true, Dr. Mark. I mean, now, but I think maybe possibly the biggest thing is the first piece that you covered, Dr. Mark. You said that was done by Nancy Reagan.
Oh, no.
No.
I think her name was Nancy O'Regan.
Oh, Nancy O'Regan. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that we clarified that because I was like,
what are your thoughts on Nancy Reagan, Jason?
Oh, man.
Nancy Reagan.
You just watched the movie, Jason. How do you not know?
I was just at the movie premiere. Just earlier this week. It was a great movie. I hope everybody goes to see it.
Shout out to the war on drugs.
Your positive thoughts on Nancy Reagan and Just Say No?
You know, everyone wants to conflate just the just say no and and make it like this big old whatever in the room. But you know what? People evolve, and I can't go into the stories of this type of evolution on the show. That we don't even that would be a whole separate episode. All regard. But I got super respect for the Reagan family, 100%.
What?
You would. Yeah. Shout out to the whole war on drugs and gaslighting a nation and all that.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Keeping the U.S. hostages so that Carter wouldn't get reaelected, taking the solar panels off the White House and setting our energy policy back 60 years. Come on.
Shout out to her best friend, Rock Hudson, and the whole AIDS epidemic being blown up. Shout out to the Reagans. But anyways, back to the story. I thought this was a fantastic article, Dr. Mark.
Yeah, Rico or Adam, I put the link on our Friday chat room.
That's all. So Dr. Mark, we'll find it. We got to keep. We'll get the links all going. It's all good.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate the license for a little extension.
Always, buddy. Always. We appreciate all the knowledge that you bring here, Dr. Mark.
About time I did something useful.
Well, you make me feel stupid every time I'm in the room, and I'm not a dumb girl. So anybody else feel like absolutely 10 points dumber when Dr. Mark's here? Because I'm just like, hey.
I usually feel 10 points smarter.
We did a lot right.
I usually feel 10 points smarter.
I absorb all of the information, and I give I have my notepad right here, and over here, and do my homework.
Let me see your notepad, Rico.
I bet. Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what though. This is overall fantastic news because and I've always said this in the past from personal experience that I've witnessed as well, as far as that cannabis is one of the best things to treat head injuries, and a lot of people don't understand why. But the reason why is because, and doctors, you can attest to this, is that your memory cells are stored in the fat of your brain, and cannabis bonds to fat. So therefore, it creates this almost like an airbag around your memory cells in your brain, so that when you do experience a traumatic head injury, you have more protection up there.
Okay. Not really, but okay.
I wouldn't put it quite like that, but it's close enough.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to make it understandable for the average person out there that doesn't understand all the science stuff that you guys break down, just to put it in a very layman's term of a visual that everyone can understand.
Horseshoes and
well, you just confused the dog shit out of them, so.
No,
horseshoes, hand grenades, and secondhand smoke.
Oh, God.
Brain pads.
You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy.
Keep it rolling, Jason.
Yeah, we're gonna roll right into this final commercial, and we're gonna be right back.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get a stretch and smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
Hi, I'm Smoky Vanilla. I have my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on individuals that are in sport with chronic pain or injury. I love to intuitively create and customize a session based on the individual that I'm working with. We'll go over a few postural assessments, work together to create a wellness journey based on the health history, past injuries, or anything still affecting you today. And we'll get you back on your feet right away with less pain.
We're about to stretch, and then we're gonna smoke, because we're gonna get on our stretch and smoke. If you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to come on down and get a stretch and smoke with none other than Smoky Vanilla.
We're back. We're back.
Ball.
You guys, pause.
Not two, one.
Whoa. I can't believe you guys are going off the hook like this. But coming up next, that's right, it's that Southern belle that loves to tell you all about yourself and more. She is full of knowledge, and of course, she's the founder of Cannabis Consulting, as well as the founder of Justice Served, a 501c3 that helps justice-infused people make sure that they can get their life back on track. That's right, is none other than Miss Jenny Beth Dills.
Baby D.
All right. Thanks, Jason. I love it here. If they could just hear what we talk about on commercial breaks, our ratings would go up and we probably couldn't monetize, but it would be great.
A lot of times they do.
Yeah, I know.
Jenny.
Jason, you get to do your favorite thing. Sing your North Carolina song.
Oh, yeah, P.D. Pablo. That's right. North Carolina.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. So it's going to be a lot happier in North Carolina soon because the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians in North Carolina, who made history with Great Smoky Cannabis Company opening the state's first cannabis dispensary in a region where marijuana remains illegal. Initially launched on April 20th to sell only medical cannabis, the dispensary began offering recreational cannabis to tribal members with valid IDs on July 4th. Starting next month, sales will expand to adults over 21. God, don't go if you're 20. Neil Denman, executive director of the tribe's Cannabis Control Board, explained the tribe's cautious entry into recreational sales. The board regulates Qualla Enterprises, the parent company, ensuring compliance with tribal rules. The gradual expansion allowed them to fine-tune operations before catering to a broader market. Although all cannabis was initially grown on tribal land, recent demand prompted them to source some products externally to prepare for their wider launch. Externally. That's a cute way to put that. Qualla Enterprises hasn't disclosed earnings from the dispensary yet, but expects to employ 500 tribe members. Michael Lambert, an anthropology professor and tribe member, noted that economic benefits and access to broader markets motivated this expansion. The tribe seeks revenue beyond their casino operations, utilizing tribal land's unique legal status. Despite popular support for medical marijuana in North Carolina, state legalization efforts have stalled. A 2024 poll showed 78% support for medical cannabis, yet political opposition remains strong. Senators Ted Budd and Tom Tillis have urged regulatory scrutiny of the tribe's cannabis operations. Similarly, Representative Chuck Edwards proposed the Stop Pot Act to penalize tribes allowing recreational sales, but it failed to advance. While cannabis sales are legal on tribal lands, it's illegal in the rest of North Carolina. Customers face potential legal issues once they leave the tribe's jurisdiction. Patrick McCoy, Jackson County Sheriff Chief Deputy, stated that local law enforcement won't specifically target dispensary visitors, but will enforce state laws as usual if violations occur. This historic venture to the Eastern Band by the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians could pave the way for further discussion on cannabis policy in North Carolina, balancing economic opportunity with legal complexities. So are you guys going to shop at the big police trap that is the big chief cannabis company, or what are y'all doing? I'm going to throw it back to you guys because I think this is a stop and search situation.
I love the fact that the cops said like they will not specifically be targeting, which means they will be specifically targeting you. Maybe they can, maybe they can fall back and just be like, yo, like we were not targeting them because of marijuana usage. We were just targeting them because we are in the South and you're black.
So you're saying it's kind of like when they used to do like the sting operations when they're like, hey, you want a TV, we want to come over and deliver it to you, and then they arrest you for not paying child support.
Yeah,
oh wow,
we're escorting you to safety.
They're getting into dang BWB crazy.
Oh man, watch out.
Yeah, man. I think.
You just caught that, huh?
This is a tough one because I don't know. Do we have anybody down in North Carolina that knows? Are there like multiple ways out of the reservation? Like you can have like lookout, like lookout boys.
I'm imagining there's not a lot of roads. Usually, there's not a lot of roads to the reservation. It's usually one way in, one way out.
Yeah, I'm rooting for their success with this, but on the other end, I'm like, yo, it's gonna be a big risk if you're going in there trying to get some weed.
I just wonder too if in regards with the if someone is going to file some type of lawsuit saying that this is entrapment.
I see what you did there, Jason.
Yeah.
Entrap.
I mean, listen, when the police set up everything else, like they do roadblocks leaving bars, they do roadblocks on 4th of July and impede on all of our freedoms that they're supposed to be enforced or allowing, celebrating. I think they're definitely going to sit there. But I think
there's a big difference.
I don't. They know when they know. Why do they not? Where do they put those roadblocks, Jason? Near bars. Why? No. Because what do you get in bars?
But there's a lot of other businesses that tend to be near bars. Okay, when you're going to a reservation, it's usually out on a barren road, and that's all that's there.
I mean,
that's not what I'm saying, Jason. You missed my point. My point was they're going to set up traps for them.
Yeah, I can see the cops saying
the entrapment portion.
We got a call. Yeah, because we got a call of erratic driving behavior, so we set up a trap. We set up a speed trap here, and we wanted to check the vehicles. I can see him saying like a bunch of bullshit like that, man. This is the South. Right, like the cops always have an excuse, and they never get prosecuted for the shit that they do. It's always fucked up. It's Tobacco Road, man.
One other thing that I wanted to point out about the article, and I'm surprised you guys haven't jumped all over yet, was saying like they didn't have the bandwidth to cultivate and supply enough from tribal land, so they're getting cannabis from outside sources. Like, you can trap to the reservation now. That's crazy. Like the fact that nobody jumped all over that is insane. Like, I wonder how many of their products have the California, this little specific label right here on them. I bet a freaking crap ton.
You ever been to
they were the original trappers, right?
Yeah,
you never been to the reservation trap?
Original
Damn,
trap.
Rico.
You like
Nicely
that,
done, Rico.
You like that?
I did, bro. That was well played.
They have
that was very nice.
They have the private reserved there.
Yeah.
You
also fuck Ronald Reagan.
Whoa.
And Nancy.
No.
Oh, was I not muted?
Yeah.
Dang it.
You guys are tripping. Let Rico.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh my gosh. All right. So up next, in closing us out today, he's an immortal cannabis wizard who walked with Jesus, witnessed the signing of the U.S. Constitution, and more recently earned 2 advanced PhDs in tripping balls from Stanford, the other from Santa Rosa Junior College. Broadcasting live from his front seat today is none other than the one and only Mathieu St. Germain.
Thank you, brothers Rico and Jason, Sister Jenny, doctors, and everybody watching. Happy Friday. You might notice I am in my spaceship, hurtling at near light speed to a large mushroom cultivation that I'm going to check out with some friends. And right when I said that, I see the CHP. So here we go. Pray for me that I stay alive, you guys. And I'm pulled over. Company's entertainment license revoked over alleged illegal drug sales in Greenfield. Here we go. The Greenfield Board of License Commissioners voted Tuesday to revoke 2 entertainment licenses issued to Destiny Klein, owner of a local cannabis-based event hosting company, following allegations that vendors sold psychedelic mushrooms, ketamine, and illegal cannabis edibles at a 4th of July event, which isn't that supposed to be about freedom anyway, you guys? Come on now. Oh, the Board of License Commissioners voted Tuesday to revoke these licenses following allegations that mushrooms, ketamine, illegal cannabis edibles were sold. Green's company, centered celebrations and events at the fairgrounds for the last 3 years. Following a discussion and public hearing hosted by the board, the company's entertainment license for its planned September 1st events was revoked, as well as its Halloween events scheduled for October 11th and 12th. State bars vendors from selling cannabis outside of a cannabis control commission. I'm going to do us all a favor and pull over real quick so I don't die, and I do you guys my service of Acting Police Chief Todd Dodge opened Tuesday's meeting by outlining the allegations. We have become aware of the fact that there may be illegal drug sales at this event. I think it was being originally advertised as being something of a trade show where individuals got together to display their wells or talk about selling or manufacturing marijuana. We've had additional information received from many reliable sources that indicate there's more than just marijuana at the event. Ketamine was present and other forms of drugs. But isn't ketamine like prescription legal now? The concern has the police department, the mayor, and all of us cannot talk about this. We cannot be complicit in an open-air drug market. Health Director Michael Thoreau explained to commissioners of the U.S. FDA banned the sale of cannabis-infused foods and beverages outside of regulated setting in June. The health department sent a memorandum decline that month, notifying her of this change to the laws. Thoreau said that although the health department followed up with an additional reminder to Klein on June 24th about the laws regulating edible sales, about 90% of the vendors at the event allegedly displayed illegal products for sale. Klein denied this number, arguing that among hundreds of vendors, less than 20 specific infractions had been acknowledged. Mayor Ginny DeSorger recalled her trip to Green Mine's 4th of July event and said, dude, she was tripping balls by the end of that. Not really. Holding up pictures of what she alleges were cannabis-infused edibles being openly sold at stands. What debauchery. What degeneracy. I just missed there we go. She said she also came across a vendor who offered to sell her mushroom-laced gummies. Klein, who was at the time in tears at the hearing, apologized for her violations, noting that this year's 4th of July event had significantly larger attendance and made it difficult for her to enforce the vendor policies. She said last year was about 800 people, while this year was over 4,000 people. Klein offered to implement a comprehensive safety plan, which would include an enhanced security detail, on-site patrol officers, monitored live cameras at events, bag and personal searches for those entering and exit events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She says she's embarrassed. The city council says they're horribly upset, even though most of these products were offered for a donation-only basis, similar to Washington, D.C.'s you buy a gift and get a free bag of weed model. This is just kind of the same thing we keep seeing. Anytime you have to have an event, it's really difficult to have events at non-state or government-owned facilities. And anytime you have these events, the first thing they want you to do is sign over your rights to have cops and undercover cops in your event, basically patrolling and trying to gather revenue. We see the same thing at Burning Man. Burning Man has to pay about $5 million a year for a permit. The only way they get that permit is if they agree to let law enforcement infiltrate the event and give out $450 tickets for everybody. This just continues to point to the crazy legal, weirdness with all of these conflicting rules. And I think we need to really fall back on these substances, for the most part, are non-toxic, usually beneficial to the human race. And we got to really write letters and show up at our local council meetings, local county supervisors meetings, in order to try to push policy towards something that resembles some sort of reality based in the actual science. This is Mathieu St. Germain. Made it through for the High at 9 News on a Friday. Please, doctors and others, jump on in here and let's get it on.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I'm glad you're alive, Mathieu St. Germain.
Right. We're all over here breathing.
I had to pull over for a second, right when I thought I was going to drive and read, a highway patrol passed me, and I was like, I'll just pull over. Thank you for bearing with me.
But once you pulled over, I was literally waiting for a cop to walk up to your window and you to hand your ID to him.
Somebody would have had to super chatted bond money to High at 9 News, and we would have got that situated.
And speaking of super chats, Jenny Beth, we do want to thank the C Word, who says, "Is this the trap y'all talk about all the time?"
Yeah.
I did not steal your joke. I didn't even read that until Mathieu St. Germain started reading and driving. So,
nice. The weird thing for me is complaining about ketamine, when ketamine has never been illegal. It's always been Schedule II. It's available via prescription. I mean, that's like going to the state fair and shaking down everybody and be like, oh my God, we found opioids because grandma just got a hip surgery. We found Xanax because, XYZ soccer mom can't deal with her life. Like if we start opening up the purses of the average Americans and complaining about just freely available prescription drugs, every event should be banned. And I wanted to highlight this when we were talking about the other events and stuff. And with this, you know, Joe Biden is one of the people that helped sponsor the Rave Act and help really destroy events and event promotion in America, make it much more difficult to get because of the Rave Act, you can, as a promoter, be in trouble and charged with any drugs or any behavior if somebody had done drugs at your event and then subsequently goes on to get a DUI, crash into somebody, etc. And it puts a really unfair onus on event promoters. It's like, what are we going to do? Like strip search everybody? And I, for one, don't want to go to events where they treat me like TSA. I pay for the TSA pre because when I go to the airport and I'm paying, $1,000 for a plane ticket, I start to get jail-based PTSD when they have me take off my belt and my shoes and start rubbing all over me. I don't love it. And I, for one, think that if we're paying money, we should be treated with respect.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it when you go in there and because I always travel in sweatpants and shit. I'm like, yo, you gonna touch my dick through my pants, my dick and my balls? They always want to fucking like pat you the fuck down. I feel you on that shit, man.
Yeah, I got the TSA pre because you get to go through the metal detector. And a big reason, Rico, I don't know, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, every time I go through that microwave machine, there's a yellow square right on my cock. And then some dude has to like rub on my cock in front of the whole crowd. And it's like how hard it is not to just get a huge, embarrassing hard-on, even if it's some like 55-year-old guy.
I do not
just
get
stop rubbing on my dong, dude. Very effective.
Is it really embarrassing?
Wow.
Wow, you guys.
Mathieu St. Germain is also doing his man kegels right now. I mean, I don't think she's going to have to worry about.
No, I am. I actually am because I'm driving. You're right. Watch. Hold on.
Go ahead, Jenny. What were you saying?
That is a callback to Matthew's sexual health conversation in a previous episode. You can find that on your own. I just think that she's not going to have to worry about increased security or cameras or anything like that next time because they're never going to give this woman a fucking event permit again. They're never going to sign off on anything for this person again. And also, yes, it sounds lit there, but I'm guessing that they didn't have a prescription for that ketamine. Most of it that I've seen rolling around has been in a sack. So I don't think that's how it comes from the pharmacy. And I think after Mathieu, after dude from Friends died in the hot tub, you know what I mean? Like we now see that people do die.
Did you see that they're prosecuting his dealer?
Yeah, she calls herself like she's the ketamine queen. The ketamine queen. I looked at her Instagram because I'm nosy. I look at her Instagram and this lady's like, she's like this hot lady with these big fake boobies and like all these Chanel bags and stuff. Like, I'm just sad. And so I think that, while ketamine can be useful and be helpful in a clinical setting, in a mindful setting, I also think that, your cannabis event shouldn't have somebody just slinging out Ziploc baggies of ketamine that came from who knows where and has whatever in it.
Dr. Mark, we're all speaking from a California perspective. Like what is like the ketamine scene out there in New England? Because this is in Massachusetts where this story was, right? Is it decriminalized out there? Like, is this nationwide?
I don't think so. I think it's interesting. As soon as you fly into LA and you get on the 405, you find that sections of highway are basically being taken care of by some ketamine clinic in Santa Monica. It's just all over the place out there in LA. I don't see it out here at all. I think if there's anything going on out here, I think it's mostly black market and underground stuff.
No, there are ketamine clinics out there. They don't advertise like they do on the West Coast. I just know that because I've been looking at psychedelic job boards, and there's a lot of ketamine clinics opening up in the Massachusetts area specifically.
Interesting.
Maybe that's like a Boston thing, but I don't think up here in Vermont. I've never ever heard of anything.
No, Vermont's a lot more conservative for sure. And I think ketamine's great, but I think one of the things to watch out for with ketamine, as well as some other substances, is because it works so well with trauma and the disassociation from trauma, it can make people who have a lot of PTSD or other early childhood trauma feel better. And it can also cause them to bypass actually doing the work to feel better and become psychologically addictive. And there are some dangers with both your liver and your kidneys with high ketamine use. And if you do ketamine a lot, you get it adjusted to it, and you need to do ever higher doses. So it definitely, for me, it's kind of maybe not a red flag, but definitely an orange flag substance, in that there is a high potential for psychological addiction and abuse.
Yeah, it's kind of like Elon Musk, right?
We don't have enough time to go into all of the problems with Elon Musk, but the ketamine's not helping him.
Yeah. Anyway,
Can we start with his body type?
He needs ecstasy is what he needs. He needs a fat ass e-pill. So does Donald Trump. I think actually everybody does. And I can tell you from my own experience, I had a lot of trauma and was pretty hyper violent and getting into fights and the whole thing. And I started doing psychedelics and especially ecstasy. And all of a sudden, like, I just realized, like, I can love myself and I can be okay. And I've done the work to integrate and done the work on the daily with my discipline and to inculcate these habits and these changes to my perspective. But man, that ecstasy is a hell of a drug.
Oh boy.
On that note,
yeah.
Thank you all for joining us for another episode and another week of High 9 News. You can always catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans getting their comments posted and called out on the big screen. The C word always coming through. Whoop, whoop. Air horn, go get it. I got you.
You got an air horn, Adam? There we go.
Also, our live audience members and online supporters tuning in and giving us feedback on the daily headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your opinions to the table, even if you are driving too. Our production team, Millie and Adam behind the scenes, keeping our AV struggles in check. And then all of the sponsors, and especially Catalyst, that houses our lovely show. Big shout out to the good folks over at Catalyst, where it is always weed for the people. Finally, Cannabis Sativa L, you are the sacred reason the High at 9 News team shows up to read these stories every single day. Thank you as well. Today is August 23rd, 2024. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until Monday. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, America's #1 daily cannabis news show. And today I want to bounce this thing right back out to are you pulled over still, MSG?
I'm at a red light.
He's at a red light.
Make it quick. Let's go. What you got for us, man? You leave these people with a little love for the weekend?
The way that we do this is all of us reclaiming our power, remembering that we're a human family, and setting out ripples of positivity. Go out and smile to somebody, do something nice for someone, and watch that spread like a butterfly effect. I love you, my co-hosts, all of my fellow correspondents, everybody watching. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much.